So here we shall discuss about the tangent galvanometer. See, to the top left corner of the page, a diagram of a tangent galvanometer is given. Now I am going to draw the top view. That means if you are viewing this thing from the top, how will you see? Before that, just I would like to tell you that this thing is a coil. This thing a coil of n turns and carrying current I, right? And this thing is a pointer actually. This thing is a pointer. As you see, this long thing is a pointer. Now I'll go to the top view. This is it. This is the top view. Now suppose I am viewing the coil like this. See, this is the coil. Coil is along this plane, right? That means this coil, that means I am viewing from here. I am viewing from here and I see the coil in this plane, vertical plane. And this vertical plane, this coil, this is a fact that this coil should be in the magnetic meridian plane. So how do you assure that coil should be in the magnetic meridian plane? See, in this pointer, with this pointer, if I draw this pointer, this one, this long stick is the pointer, and just tied to the pointer you have a small magnetic needle here. You have a very small magnetic needle. That means the needle is so small, it is at the center of the plate almost. I mean, center of this dial rather. This is the dial. Now this is the magnetic meridian plane. Meridian plane. So if you let the magnet free, it will point in this direction. If you let the magnetic needle free means it is obviously hinged at the center. It will align itself in this way. It will align itself in this way. Right. Now, so it will align in the direction of this BH. BH is what? The horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. Now, in the coil as you send current, suppose, say say I am showing in this diagram, if you send current in the coil, say current in the coil is in this direction, then there will be magnetic field in this direction due to the coil B, right? So in this diagram we will show that this is B. Sorry. Okay, so this is a magnet. Now I'll show you B. In this figure, this is the magnetic field B. Yes. So what's B? B is the magnetic field due to current in the coil. Okay. So by the way, the pointer is this. Okay, pointer is this way and this is a 0. There are some graduations of these angles. Say 0, this is 30 degree, 60 degree, like that. So as the magnet will rotate, the pointer will also rotate. Now let's see. After you switch on current in the coil, the resultant magnetic field will be in this direction, right? So resultant magnetic field is the vector sum of BH square plus vector sum of BH and B. So BH is the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field and B is the magnetic field due to the current in the coil. Now the magnet deflects by angle theta. Okay. So the new position of the magnet will be this. Okay. Now we see that the relation between B, H and B, So this is the vector BH and vector B. So that is it. So tan theta equal to, so here tan theta equal to B divided by BH. So therefore B is equal to BH tan theta. This is also known as the tangent law. This is known as the tangent law. Coil. See, this is the radius of the coil, R. R is the radius of the coil, I mean the coil in the vertical plane. Okay. So in this page, we'll study it again. So this was the thing, right? This was the direction of BH. Just a brief diagram. So this is a magnetic needle, north south like this. Remember, this is the magnetic meridian plane. Okay. Now, what is the magnetic field B? So the coil, so this large coil, this right? So B is mu 0 Ni, number of turns in mu 0 Ni by 2R. So we know this B equal to BH tan theta. So we can substitute for B, mu 0 Ni by 2R is equal to BH times tan theta. So therefore I is equal to 2BH R by mu 0 N times tan theta. Now this term is also represented as K. Okay. This is represented as K and this is known as the reduction factor of the galvanometer. So that we can write I is equal to K tan theta, right? But now if you differentiate I, di, that means for a small change in I, this is a small change in theta. That means if you change the current slightly by this amount di, there is a change d theta. Okay. So di divided by I is just divide it like this. You get 2 times d theta by sine of 2 theta. If you simplify it, you see. So that means d theta equal to sine 2 theta by 2 into di by I. Okay. Now, so for a sensitive galvanometer, you need this d theta to be high for a fractional change in current. See, this is the fractional change in current and this is the change in the angle rotated by the magnet. You need this to be high. So that means the galvanometer is most sensitive when this theta is round about 45 degree. but there is a inherent galvanometer. You know, this is the equation I is equal to k tan theta. So if I plot this, I and theta, it will be an asymptotic curve like this. Leave apart that side, negative side, suppose this is the curve. Okay. Now, if you go for higher angles, there is a problem. The problem is that, see, d theta can happen. This d theta, see, it's this. This is the needle. Say the needle rotates like this, and the pointer also rotates like this. So there may be a small error in this angle. So this d theta can happen due to eye estimation or whatever. It is not possible to calculate the angle perfectly, because there are graduations also, there is least count also. So suppose d theta is the error in measuring angle. For large values of theta, this is the error in measuring current. So the error in measuring current is di. So that means this galvanometer, this tangent galvanometer, is not suited for large values of theta.